In a sleepy town nestled amidst rolling hills, there was a peculiar legend that haunted the locals for generations. It spoke of an old, dilapidated car that prowled the winding highways at night, its headlights piercing through the darkness like glowing eyes. Many believed it to be cursed, with tales of those who dared to cross its path meeting untimely and mysterious ends. But despite the warnings, curiosity often got the better of adventurous souls. On a moonless night, four friends, Emma, Ethan, Olivia, and Lucas, found themselves cruising along the deserted highway in Ethan's old pickup truck. The radio crackled with static as they exchanged stories and laughter, unaware of the looming danger that awaited them. As they rounded a bend, they spotted it, a vintage car parked on the side of the road, its rusted exterior gleaming faintly in the moonlight. Intrigued, they pulled over, their curiosity piqued by the eerie atmosphere surrounding the abandoned vehicle. Stepping out of the truck, they approached the car cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the stillness of the night. The air was thick with tension as they peered through the dusty windows, their breath fogging up the glass. Without warning, the car shuddered to life, its engine roaring to a deafening crescendo. Startled, the friends stumbled backward, their hearts pounding in their chests as the headlights flickered ominously. Unable to resist the allure of the unknown, they climbed into the car, the leather seats creaking beneath their weight. As Ethan turned the key in the ignition, the car surged forward, hurtling down the highway at breakneck speed. The friends exchanged nervous glances as the landscape blurred past them in a dizzying whirl. Shadows danced on the edges of their vision, and strange whispers filled the air, sending shivers down their spines. With each passing mile, the car seemed to grow more malevolent, its presence suffusing the air with an oppressive weight. Mia's hands trembled on the steering wheel as she fought to maintain control, her knuckles turning white with exertion. Suddenly, the radio crackled to life, emitting a series of static-laden whispers that sent chills down their spines. Ethan reached to turn it off, but his hand froze mid-air as a voice emerged from the speakers, a voice filled with anguish and despair. "Turn back," it pleaded, "before it's too late." Ignoring the warning, Ethan pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the car's sinister reputation. But as they continued down the desolate highway, a sense of unease settled over them like a suffocating blanket. Hours passed, the darkness stretching on endlessly as the car hurtled deeper into the night. The friends grew weary, their minds clouded with exhaustion and fear. But still, they pressed on, driven by a morbid curiosity that refused to be quenched. As dawn approached, they found themselves on the outskirts of a ghost town, its dilapidated buildings looming like silent sentinels against the horizon. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant sound of creaking metal and rustling leaves. With a sinking feeling in their hearts, they realized they had stumbled upon the car's final destination, a place where nightmares were born and souls were lost to the darkness. But before they could turn back, the car came to a sudden stop, its engine sputtering to a halt as if drained of life. Panic surged through the friends as they struggled to escape, their hands fumbling with the door handles in a desperate bid for freedom. But as they stepped out into the cold light of dawn, they were met with a sight that chilled them to the core. The highway stretched out before them, empty and desolate as far as the eye could see. The car was nowhere to be found, its presence fading into the ether like a ghostly apparition. And as they stood there, trembling in the silence of the morning, they realized the true horror of their ordeal, that some mysteries were never meant to be unraveled, and some roads were better left untraveled. For in the end, the greatest fear was not in what lurked in the shadows, but in the darkness that lay within their own hearts. And though they may have escaped the clutches of the haunted highway, The memory of that fateful night would haunt them forevermore. Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled amidst rolling hills and dense forests, there existed an old, abandoned car. It was a unique car, a vintage model from a forgotten era, with rust eating away at its once glorious frame. Legends whispered of its dark past, of tragic accidents and mysterious disappearances associated with it. Despite warnings and rumors, curiosity often got the better of adventurous souls who dared to explore it. One stormy night, a group of friends, Alex, Sarah, Jake, and Emily, decided to embark on an adventure. They had heard tales of the haunted car and were eager to uncover its secrets. Ignoring the warnings of the townsfolk, they set out into the woods, armed with flashlights and bravery. As they stumbled upon the decrepit vehicle, a chill ran down their spines. Its broken windows glinted ominously in the moonlight, and the wind whispered eerie melodies through its twisted metal. Ignoring their unease, they approached the car, eager to unravel its mysteries. As they entered the car, a strange sensation washed over them, like a heavy fog enveloping their minds. The air grew thick with tension as the car seemed to come to life, its engine roaring to life with an otherworldly energy. The group exchanged nervous glances but pressed on, their curiosity overpowering their fear. Little did they know, they were about to embark on a journey unlike any other, a journey into the depths of terror and despair. The car lurched forward, its tires screeching against the muddy ground as it hurtled deeper into the darkness of the forest. The friends clung to each other, their hearts pounding with fear as the trees blurred past them in a dizzying frenzy. Hours passed, but the car showed no signs of slowing down. Panic began to set in as they realized they were no longer in control of their fate. The car seemed to have a mind of its own, twisting and turning through the labyrinthine forest with a malevolent purpose. With each passing moment, the air grew heavier, suffused with an oppressive sense of dread. Shadows danced on the edges of their vision, and strange whispers echoed in their ears. It was as if they had entered a realm where reality and nightmare merged into one. Suddenly, the car screeched to a halt, throwing the friends forward with a jolt. They stumbled out into a clearing, their eyes widening in horror at the sight before them. In the center of the clearing stood a dilapidated mansion, its windows shattered and its walls crumbling with age. Without a word, they approached the mansion, their footsteps echoing eerily in the silence. As they crossed the threshold, they were greeted by a chilling sight, a grand hall filled with portraits of long-dead ancestors, their eyes following the intruders with a silent malevolence. They explored the mansion, each room revealing more horrors than the last. Ghostly apparitions prowled the halls, their wails echoing through the empty corridors. Shadows danced in the flickering candlelight, and whispers filled the air like a haunting melody. As they delved deeper into the mansion's depths, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber, a chamber filled with the remnants of dark rituals and forbidden magic. A sense of dread washed over them as they realized the true nature of their surroundings. It was then that they heard it, the sound of a child's laughter echoing through the halls. With trembling hands, they followed the sound to its source, their hearts pounding with fear and anticipation. In the depths of the mansion, they found her, a little girl, her eyes wide with terror as she cowered in the corner. She whispered of unspeakable horrors lurking in the shadows, of dark forces beyond human comprehension. Determined to escape the nightmare that had ensnared them, the friends made a desperate bid for freedom. But as they fled the mansion's confines, they were met with a sight that chilled them to the core. The car stood before them, its twisted frame pulsating with an otherworldly energy. With a deafening roar, it surged forward, swallowing them whole in a maelstrom of darkness. And as the echoes of their screams faded into the night, the car disappeared into the depths of the forest, leaving behind nothing but whispers of a horror that would never be forgotten. In the heart of a bustling city, amidst the constant hum of traffic and the glow of neon lights, there stood an old car dealership. Its windows were dusty, its sign weathered by time, yet there was something inexplicably alluring about the vintage cars displayed within. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the city streets grew quiet, a group of friends, Sam, Emma, Chris, and Maya, found themselves drawn to the abandoned dealership. They had heard rumors of a cursed car hidden among the forgotten relics, and curiosity compelled them to investigate. As they approached the dealership, an eerie stillness hung in the air, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant honking of a car horn. The moon cast long shadows across the pavement, adding to the sense of foreboding that permeated the night. Ignoring the warning signs plastered on the windows, the friends ventured inside, their footsteps echoing loudly in the empty showroom. Rows of vintage cars stood silent and motionless, their faded paint reflecting the dim light filtering in through the grimy windows. But it was the car at the far end of the showroom that caught their attention, a sleek, black sedan with an air of mystery surrounding it. Its chrome accents gleamed in the faint light, and the friends couldn't help but feel drawn to its allure. As they approached the car, a shiver ran down their spines, and an unsettling feeling settled in the pit of their stomachs. There was something undeniably sinister about the car, something that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Despite their apprehension, Sam, the group's self-proclaimed leader, boldly declared that they should take the car for a spin. Emma and Chris exchanged nervous glances, but Maya, ever the thrill-seeker, eagerly agreed. With trembling hands, Sam inserted the key into the ignition, and the car roared to life with a deafening growl. The engine's roar echoed through the showroom, drowning out the friends' nervous laughter as they buckled their seatbelts and prepared for the ride ahead. As they pulled out of the dealership and onto the city streets, a sense of exhilaration washed over them, momentarily eclipsing their earlier fears. The car seemed to glide effortlessly through the night, its headlights cutting through the darkness like twin beacons of adventure. But as they ventured deeper into the city, a strange sensation washed over them, a feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes following their every move. Emma's heart raced as she glanced nervously out the window, half expecting to see something lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, the car veered off course, hurtling down a deserted alleyway shrouded in darkness. Panic gripped the friends as they realized they were no longer in control of the car's movements. It was as if the car had a mind of its own, guiding them towards an unknown destination with a malevolent purpose. As they careened through the narrow streets, the city seemed to blur past them in a dizzying whirlwind of lights and shadows. Time lost all meaning as they hurtled deeper into the night, their fear mounting with each passing moment. Just when they thought they couldn't take any more, the car screeched to a sudden halt in front of an abandoned warehouse at the edge of town. The air was thick with tension as they cautiously stepped out of the car, their hearts pounding in their chests. The warehouse loomed before them like a silent sentinel, its windows boarded up and its doors sealed shut. But despite its dilapidated appearance, there was an undeniable sense of malevolence emanating from within. With trembling hands, Sam pushed open the door, revealing a dark and musty interior that sent chills down their spines. As they cautiously entered the warehouse, their footsteps echoing loudly in the empty space, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the darkness, a voice filled with malice and contempt. It spoke of ancient curses and forbidden knowledge, of a power beyond comprehension that sought to consume them all. With growing horror, the friends realized that they had stumbled upon something far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. The car, it seemed, was merely a vessel for something far more malevolent, a force that sought to ensnare them in its clutches and drag them down into the depths of despair. With their hearts pounding and their nerves frayed, the friends made a desperate bid for escape. But no matter which way they turned, they found themselves trapped in a maze of shadows and deception, each twist and turn leading them further into the abyss. Just when all hope seemed lost, Maya remembered something her grandmother had once told her, a tale of bravery and sacrifice in the face of darkness. With newfound determination, she rallied her friends to stand together and confront the evil that threatened to consume them. Armed with nothing but their wits and their courage, they faced the darkness head-on, refusing to succumb to fear. With each step they took, the shadows seemed to recede, their resolve shining like a beacon in the night. In the end, it was their unity that saved them, their unwavering friendship and determination to stand together against the forces of darkness. With a final burst of strength, they banished the malevolent presence from the warehouse, casting out the darkness and restoring peace to the city once more. As they emerged from the warehouse, battered but triumphant, they knew that they had faced their greatest fear and emerged victorious. And though the memory of their harrowing ordeal would linger with them forever, they knew that they were stronger together than they could ever be alone.